Greetings friends, That Gaming Author here, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy IV. In the last episode, we went over some of the basics of combat, talked to some people around town, and delivered the Carnelian Signet to the village of Mist, in which we learned a rather tragic truth. In this episode, with Kain nowhere to be seen, and this child, whose mother we unintentionally killed, we find ourselves in some desert outside of Mist, or rather where Mist would have been. So now, we are kind of alone at the moment, and as you can see, we are facing some new enemies. The larvae don't really have anything special, but the Eye-Wing moths, they do have the capacity to blind you, so I would recommend taking those out as quickly as possible. The larvae, they're just standard mooks, so don't need to worry about them. Our first order of business, once we're finished with all these guys, is to find some sort of civilization, make sure we can get this child we're carrying to have a place to rest. And what better location than an oasis in the middle of the desert? I have to find her a place to rest. Welcome. Oh, she looks very pale. Is she alright? Get her to a bed, quickly. She can rest here, free of charge. Thank you. Hey, are you alright? My name is Cecil. What's yours? I'm sorry about your mother. I understand it if you can't forgive me. Will you at least let me protect you? Cecil, I finally found you. Wait. I am here on the King's orders. All summoners from Mist must be annihilated. Hand over the girl, now. Never. Then you shall die. Alright. Immediately in another fight. So, what will happen is the general in the background there, he will tell his soldiers to attack. Now we've pretty much killed the other two pretty quickly, so we don't need to worry about them. And now this part is kind of a war of attrition. You don't have to do this, but if you kill the last soldier while the general's still alive, the general will run and you will miss out on that XP. So yeah, whenever I do this fight, I make sure to kill the general and then kill the soldier in the front there as fast as possible, because I think the soldier can also commit suicide if the general is not there. So you want to make sure that you're wiping them all out by your own hand. Yeah, stain your own hands with the blood instead of letting them do the blood staining. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what? I got my point across. I am more than content with that. Okay, I killed this guy before. Okay, there we go. And we got a lot more XP than we would have gotten otherwise. Are you okay? Yes, don't worry about me. I won't let anyone hurt you. Promise? I promise. I'm Rydia. Rydia. Alright, and with that we are all set. So, we have a new party member, Rydia. Automatically, what we're going to want to do, move her into the back row. Let me double check her equipment. Okay, she has the equipment I want her to have. So, that's what this spoiler was I was mentioning. It told us ahead of time that someone by the name of Rydia would be able to learn an ability regarding a goblin. And that's exactly what she can do. So she can summon, and I believe... yeah, we just use the item and she automatically learns it. Well, cool. I was worried it would take up a slot in our inventory space. Yeah, she now has 2 summons. She can summon a chocobo and a goblin, and I believe the damage the goblin does is pretty much next to worthless. But here we are. We are in the desert oasis of Kaipo. Let's talk around and get a little bit of info, shall we? I can't believe Anna ran away. She and her father, Sage Tella, were very close. Oh, okay. So we've got a name. And I don't need any of that. Not yet, anyway. I'm sure I will in the future. Quench your thirst with Kaipo Punch. Hell yeah, that actually sounds really good. I'm a traveling scholar. I want to go to Fabul, which lies east of Damsayan, to do a little research. But some old man in the underground waterway won't let me through. Interesting. So we'll have to keep that in mind if we ever encounter an old man in an underground waterway. Well, hello. We rarely have visitors these days, what with all the monsters running around. So the monsters aren't just Baron's problem. Seems like they're all over the world. I want to go to the Antlion's Den east of Damsayan because of the fat loot inside. Too bad only the royals are allowed in there. Another thing to keep in mind, apparently. Let me check for loot. Okay, yeah, no loot to be found in these houses, apparently. Alright, now I think that's all we have to see in the inn, so yeah, let's head out into the actual village. Make our way around town, walking fast. This is Kaipo, the desert oasis of Damsayan. How do you pronounce that? I feel like my pronunciation of Damsayan has changed over the years. The underground waterway is in the northeast, but it's dangerous. There have been sightings of 8 water serpents. Oh, well damn, Cyan. Anna fell deeply in love with someone, but she left Kaipo because Sage Tella didn't approve. Interesting to note. Okay. Got a little quarrel over lovers and such. Noted. Okay, so we can get some new equipment for Rydia here. I will keep the rod equipped on her though, and I'll show you why when we go out to the field to do battle. But those are other... You know what? I will at least buy the staff, just for the sake of demonstration, and it will help us a little bit if we do get poisoned. And I'll explain why. I heard some damsel from Baron passed out on the outskirts of town. She was taken to someone's house to rest. Someone from Baron, huh? That's important. If you are going to travel with that little girl, I recommend moving her to the back row. We've already done so. I'm diligent. The castle up north is Damsayan Castle, which rules over this entire desert. I heard the Prince of Damsayan has a delicate beauty, as well as an exquisite voice. Oh goodness, my voice got all messed up there. Ooh, free ether. It's always nice. I think I'll save that house for last. I want to stop by the armor shop. Oh, what do we got here? I want to go to Damsayan and become a dancer, but the underground waterway is filled with monsters. I've been practicing though. Check out these moves. Just jump right into what I assume is the city's water source. Or the village, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think there's one of those in almost every town in the game. It's just a thing. Oh, there's Naming Way, we don't need to talk to him. Or them. I don't think Naming Way has a gender, so I think it'd be more appropriate to refer to Naming Way as them. Okay, so nothing there. I could be wrong about that. Okay, so let's stop at this house up at the top right. See if maybe we can figure out who this person from Baron is that we heard about. We found a girl from Baron lying unconscious just outside of town. The poor thing's been afflicted with desert fever. She just keeps muttering the name Cecil over and over. Rosa? Rosa? Cecil? Cecil, be careful. To cure desert fever, you need a rare jewel called the Sand Pearl, found only in a cave where an antlion dwells. Well, it would seem we have a new objective. We need to go to a cave where an antlion dwells, and get this sand pearl. See if we can cure Rosa. It's very clear she's quite sick. But with that, I do believe that's all I wanted to explore in the desert oasis of Kaipo. So, you know what it's time for? More grinding! So I'm gonna cut most of it out, but I do want to go around the desert and at least show you how quickly we can get Rydia's levels up. Since, as you can see, she starts at level 1. So, yeah, if you press L or R, you can see how much XP they need to get to the next level. We'll be getting Rydia's level up pretty quickly. But of course, I always have to be a little extra, and I'm going to spend a particular amount of time on this process. So this is why I want the rod equipped. The rod just does physical damage. Oh, it counters with Osmos? I did not know that. And there goes every last bit of her MP. We are going to go to an end before this grinding session is over. But yeah, and look at that, we got 123 XP. Rydia gained 1 level, learned Blizzard, gain another level, learned Cure. Oh, only 2 levels. Okay, I guess we haven't encountered the mooks that give the most XP. So there's an enemy group somewhere here in the desert that gives... yeah, they give a fair amount of XP, and I usually always grind against them. So yeah, that's going to be our next destination, just so that way you guys are aware. So I think her rod attack should be enough to kill one of these. Yeah, because goblins only have like 6 HP in this game, so should be more than okay. Normally I do have Rydia defend for the first few fights, but I just kind of want to show off what she can do. Alright, Desert Sahuagins, or Sahuagin, whatever they're called. I think they're pronounced Sahuagin in D&D, but these guys are going to be the general mooks we'll be fighting most of our visit here in the desert. And they're weak, they come in droves, they give decent XP. Yeah, see that? Rydia's already gained another level. And I think that's it for all the new enemies in the desert, so with that, here, let me go ahead and just... You know what? No, since she couldn't kill one last time, I'm just gonna have Cecil do the fighting here. Alright, we'll just wipe him out. Rydia's speed is catching up pretty quickly though, that's for sure. Alright, and she's already learned another spell. So with that, I'm going to meet you guys in the cave up north, and hopefully we'll be back with the Rydia at an appropriate level. Alright, and we're back. I got all the grinding out of the way done that I wanted to do, and Cecil's already about to get another level up. See, like I said, the enemies in the desert tend to provide quite a bit of XP, so we got Rydia up to level 12 pretty quickly, and Cecil's already level 15. I figured now's as good a time as any to go over Rydia's abilities. So she is kind of like a red mage in a way, and a summoner mixed. She can use white and black magic, and can summon. So yeah, just summons Chocobo. She already has some new abilities, so they're pretty useful already. And she can heal, which is also a good thing in general. I don't know why I struggle to speak there. But here's the spell Sight. I likely will never use this again, but just to show you guys what it does, it opens up a view of the world map. So if you're familiar with Final Fantasy 1, it's the equivalent of pressing select and the B button, or the circle button in the PSP version. You can see all the locations you've been to already, as well as all the locations we haven't visited yet. And since it's a MP cost of 2, I will never really use it. So, I might as well show you the stat comparison between Rydia and Cecil, so you can look over that. As you can see, she's not exactly capable physically, but she is in there with magic in terms of her intellect and spirit, and that's why I'm having her use the rod. I believe the rod deals a certain amount of damage by default, so she can just use that to attack enemies pretty much and deal a consistent amount of damage. I'll leave that on for you guys just a little longer so you can give that a better look. And then we'll go over Cecil's new stats. His intellect and spirit are pretty dang low, which are understandable given his job class. But he's pretty physically capable, so he's proving to be a more or less useful protagonist, even though I'm sure he's suffering with his demons inside. And I haven't really brought attention to it yet, but you might have noticed the music's different. As promised, since we are on episode 3, I changed the music score to be the Super Nintendo track. So it is playing the original Super Nintendo music instead of the arrangements. Now, let's look over the bestiary and view our new enemies. So, as you may see, there are a couple new enemies in here that I didn't get to go over, so we'll look over those when we get the chance. So, Larva. They're pretty dang weak, as you can see. They give a fair amount of XP though, they drop potions and high potions, and they actually have a point defense, so hey, they're a step above the mooks we were fighting over in the Barren region. We've killed 36 of those. And they don't have any weaknesses or anything they absorb, but they do resist Pig, Mini, and Toad. Seems like most enemies do. Desert Saiyajins. Now these were the main mooks I was fighting. Look at that, they give 70 XP. They are the perfect enemy to grind against. They have such low HP that even Rydia could kill one in one hit. They have no defense, they have very little strength. These guys, and they're weak to ice. They have a weakness and no resistances. These guys are the perfect grinding mooks to fight against. And then Eye-Wing Moths. They drop eye drops, which is indicated, like I said before, they can inflict darkness on you, so that could be pretty useful. They drop Phoenix Downs, Alarm Clocks, and Golden Needles as well. Interesting item array. I don't think they inflict all those status ailments, but that's the thing. They do have 3 points in defense, making them a little beefier, so Rydia isn't able to deal as much damage to them, unfortunately, but Cecil can kill them just fine. Looks like we've slain 36 of them. So they are weak to throw, so if we had the ability to throw weapons or items, since they are a flying enemy, we'd be able to deal more or less decent damage. And of course, they're resistant to blind because they inflict the ailment, and Pig, Mini, and Toad. It's the usual affair. Hunlegs, one of the enemies that I missed when I was explaining what we'd be fighting in the desert. So I didn't kill as many of these. They do provide decent XP, and they do have a decent amount of defense as well for how early in the game we encounter them. But more or less, still pretty easy to defeat. Drop high potions and regular potions, and resist the usual fare of Blind, Pig, Mini, and Toad. So yeah, nothing too special about them. And then Sandworms. I only encountered one of these bad boys, but normally on my personal playthroughs, when I tend to grind for a long amount of time, I'm able to encounter quite a few of them. I think they have the capacity to cast Quake, which is an AoE spell that damages everyone in the party, unless they're floating, which is a special status ailment we'll go over at another time. So, they have a fair amount of XP, they're definitely one of the beefier enemies here. They have 2 points in defense, and they have a fair amount of magic and magic defense. So that, as a result, they give a decent amount of XP as well. Drop potions, high potions, remedies, and silver apples, which, off the top of my head, I cannot remember what they do. And they resist Blind, Pig, Mini, and Sleep. So, that's our enemy affair. That's what we're looking at here in the desert. And with that, we will be going into this cave. Underground waterway. So, yeah, there are a couple treasures here we can grab. I think I want to hold off on them normally, but you know what, whatever. I'm bold and daring. Bold and brash when it belongs in the trash. Alright, so let's go ahead and just wipe these guys out nice and quickly. So those amoebas, they're a little special. So Fang Shells, I'm pretty sure they have a fair amount of defense, that's why it takes a couple hits. But we're going to want to use magic on these guys, because if we attack them using physical attacks, they will just heal themselves, and it's just a never-ending cycle. Ooh, Maiden's Kiss, and that's a new item that is going to become very useful in the near future. That future being now, no, I'm kidding. So something interesting about spells. If you press left twice, or at least enough times to get to the top enemy, it will multi-target, so we can cast Thunder, and it will attack both these bad boys, and wipe them out nice and quickly. And Cecil's level 16. Would you look at that? Already gaining a fair amount of XP, and we've literally just started. But I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm more than okay with having more levels. Alright. Let's wipe these guys out pretty quickly. So this is one of those somewhat longer dungeons, at least compared to the Mist Cave. like, this is kind of where dungeons start getting a little long. So yeah, we'll let her do that. Yeah, we're getting a fair amount of XP. We might gain quite a few levels in this dungeon. Yeah, this dungeon, it has a few rooms in it. It even has some secrets, like plenty of secrets actually. So this dungeon will be keeping us quite busy for a little bit. Oh, is she gonna get the amoeba? Oh, I was kind of worried she'd attack the amoeba. Well, I'm glad she didn't. Alright, so let's wipe those guys out. And I'm going to not use magic this time. Alright, what's the button? Okay, whatever. And then if he uses re-raise, that means it's healed. Yep. There we go. Okay, so if we can deal enough damage before he gets another turn, then we can avoid it using re-raise. Now if we go over here, we did hear in Kaipo about an old man who was not letting people through. Maybe this is the fellow he was talking about. Could that be? It is! That dark sword. Dark Knight, I need your assistance. What's wrong? I must get to Damsaya and reclaim my daughter. She was deceived by a wicked bard. We must hurry, for I sense an ill omen. You must be Sage Tella. Indeed I am. That girl, she is a summoner. Perfect, she can help too. A giant monster lurks in the lake ahead. That devil even withstands magic. I think we can defeat it together, and then I can finally be on my way. We're hurrying to Damsayan as well. Then let us make haste. And with that, Sage Tella has joined the party. I'm not going to go over his stats in much detail. But first things first, let's get him in the back row. Don't know why they default him to the front, but whatever. So he's level 20, already automatically one of our strongest party members. And he's more or less weak in the physical department, so we're not going to worry too much about him using physical attacks. But he's got a lot of MP, he's got intellect and spirit, so he's pretty good. Like Rydia, he can use White Mage and Black Mage. He has Cura as opposed to Cure, so he'll be able to heal more HP. And yeah, with that, we're pretty much good. And I hope I'm not accidentally going the right way, because I do that way too much in these games. Okay, yep, that's the right way. Good to know. So yeah, with Sage Tella in the party, we've got a couple of pretty decent magic users. I think we are set to go through this dungeon. And so this is what I mean. You got a couple of tricky twists and turns throughout this dungeon. And I'm going to actually have him use Thunder. Oh goodness, I need to drink water. My apologies. One moment. My voice is starting to get a little hoarse. I've been doing a lot more talking than I'm used to. Alright, Iron Armlet. I don't recall who needs that most. I guess she already has that. You know what? Yeah, we'll give it to Tella. He's quite weak. He has like no equipment. Wow. Okay, yeah. The old man deserves some. So, if we keep traveling, we'll find this secret Waterfall Grotto. We find a Dry Ether, an X Potion, and Phoenix Down. Pretty damn good. It's a nice little secret hidden under that waterfall, so it's pretty nice that we took the time to investigate. I love when games reward exploration. It is like a really nice change of pace, and I certainly appreciate that. So I'm not afraid to use MP right now. We will have the opportunity to heal pretty soon, so we can have Tella cast Thunder on that amoeba, wipe him out, and then we'll have Rydia and Cecil take care of this last Fang Shell. I think Fang Shells were called another name in the Game Boy Advance version. I could be wrong, but who knows? Maybe I'm right. I'll have to check, maybe, during editing, but that also mean I'd have to catch up to this point in the Game Boy Advance version, which I mean wouldn't take that long, but still, I don't know if I have the patience. I don't know if I have the patience to do that. Oh goodness, all this talking is starting to get to me. Okay, so I don't think there's anything up here, but I will check anyway. Okay, yeah, nothing up there. I do like that effect of the water trickling off the rocks on the cliffside. That's like a really nice effect. And then we'll just do that. I think most enemies here are weak to thunder, so thunder's generally gonna get you pretty far. Alright, and then we go up here. Find ourselves a nice little treasure. Always good to see. And then I'll kind of alternate who's using magic, more or less. So, we had Rydia use thunder in that last fight, I think. My memory is really bad, so I could be very wrong about that. But you know what? It's okay. I can always fix things in end posts and be like, no, I was wrong about this thing. Yeah. And that's my voice for being wrong about things, apparently. Okay, toads. So these guys are not weak to thunder, so we're gonna want to use ice on them. That's the kind of that's the general rule for reptilian enemies in Final Fantasy. If they're like a reptile, or wait, frogs aren't reptiles, are they? I am not smart, but generally amphibians, reptiles, whatever, because they're cold-blooded, they're usually weak to ice. So just something to keep in mind. Now let's move forward. And yeah, I wanted to wipe those guys out pretty quickly because, you know how I mentioned that Maiden's Kiss being useful? Hang on, let's go ahead and look for, yeah, Cures Toad. So those frogs there, they can inflict the Toad status, which will turn us into a frog, which drops all our stats to 1, and we can't do shit about it unless we can heal the status ailment. Alright, let's enter this room. We'll rest here. This magic repels all monsters. You can save and use a tent or a cottage in here. Let's use my tent to rest and prepare for the upcoming battle. The girl's asleep already. She must have been exhausted. Who is she? A summoner from the Village of Mist. She holds great potential. With proper training, she'll be able to master many spells. Look at her. What a cute face. She reminds me of Anna at that age. Who is Anna? My daughter. She eloped with a bard to Damcyan because I didn't consent to their union. What business have you in Damcyan? A friend of mine suffers from desert fever. Ah, so you came for the Sand Pearl. It won't be easy to obtain. Tell me more about this monster we must face. A vicious creature with 8 huge tentacles. We must kill it and reach Damcyan before it is too late. Too late for what? I don't know. I only pray my instincts are wrong. Alright, all set. We are good to go. So with that being said, I'm going to end off the episode here. We've still got a fair amount left to this dungeon. So next time on Final Fantasy IV, we will continue through this underground waterway and reach Damcyan to, well, perhaps meet this bard who has eloped with Anna, and hopefully figure out our next clues for finding the Sand Pearl. Excuse me. I'll see you guys then.